Ahoy, landlubbers! It's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. And we've returned on the rare Friday to stream some more Magic Arena. Today is July 20th, 2018, thus marking a significant stress test for the Magic the Gathering Arena beta. What that means are there's some special, cheap or free events going on, including Quick Draft for the new set, Magic 2019, which I'm looking forward to doing. Also, this week has been a garbage week, including the stream on Wednesday, where our deck was just sad and bad and also terrible. And so I'd like to seek some sort of redemption of sorts. I even did a draft, just like a quick draft of Hour of Devastation / Amonkhet yesterday off stream to try and earn back some gems. I used coins for it, because I think the coins are more valuable to me as quick draft entries than they are for packs at this point, since my focus will definitely be more on draft than constructed. Yeah, but I tried that, and that didn't go particularly well either. So I have no reason to think this will go well. Particularly, which I haven't mentioned since I've started this recording, that if you're not aware of how the stress test is going, the second that it initiated, by all accounts, the second the stress test began and these events opened, the servers got so overwhelmed with people interested in joining them that they all went down for, a little over 2 hours, it sounds like. So yeah, I was at work at the time, so I can't verify the exact duration it was down. But it was definitely down. So let's get to it, because at any moment it could crash again. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the half-entry quick draft, which is awesome. Look at this, 375 gems or 2,500 gold for, a whole normal quick draft. It's nice. I'm going to spend gold for the aforementioned reasons. But let's hope to open some, good cards. Okay, let's do the thing. Oh, Banefire. Yeah, Banefire's a good card. It's not exactly a bomb, but Banefire is what's colloquially referred to as a fireball effect. And these tend to be very good in Limited, because they can act as either flexible removal, meaning they can kill big things or large things, and basically have the ability to kill the majority of all creatures, depending on how much mana you have, or you can just kill your opponent outright by targeting them and doing a lot of damage. This is a type of effect you would take very highly, to the extent that if you were to open this in pack 3 and you weren't in red, you should probably strongly consider taking it and just finding a way to splash it. So that's a really good card to open. This pack's a little awkward because, let's look at the other strong cards here. Volley Veteran I think is good. I don't think it's a first pick most of the time. It's a 4-mana 4/2. If you have goblins, it itself is a goblin. So it enters the battlefield and deals damage to target creature equal to the number of goblins you have. So if you have only him, it deals 1 damage to something. It's not that impressive. If you have 1 or 2 more other goblins, this thing becomes pretty impressive. This card did a lot of work for me at the pre-release. Siegebreaker Giant, 5-mana 6/3 with Trample. That's pretty good. 3 toughness is a little bit of a liability, except it also has pay 4 mana, target creature can't block this turn. And not even just can't block Siegebreaker, just can't block at all. So, yeah, you can do all sorts of things with that. It's pretty good. Also here, Skymarch Bloodletter is pretty strong black common. 2/2 flyer for 3 mana with the upside of, when it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses a life and you gain a life. This also plays into the black-white life gain theme, which is present on a certain number of cards. That deck can come together and be pretty powerful from what I've seen. Also, Rabid Bite. Pretty good. This does require you to have a creature with reasonable amount of power, but unlike some green removal cards, they don't, fight and do damage to each other, so it's not as important that it has high toughness. You just sort of kill their thing if you have a big enough, creature in play. But for us, I think it's an easy Banefire. So now what do we have going on? Gifted Paradise is probably a little better than I want to think it is. Draconic Disciple's interesting. 3 mana 2/2. It is red and green. It has tap, add 1 mana of any color, or pay 7 and sacrifice it, tapping it in the process to make a 5/5 red flying dragon. So, like, it ramps you, and then when you have too much mana, you just turn it into a dragon. I like it. We do have a Take Vengeance here. Take Vengeance is pretty good. I'm still not exactly sure how highly to rate this card. It's, like, pretty good removal, but most of the time they hit you first. So, like, you take the damage, so it's not, like, a great removal spell, but it's pretty good because it's largely unconditional other than they have to attack or be tapped for some reason. Strangling Spores is, like, pretty good. It's certainly no, like, murder or whatever. So, like, 4 mana, it is an instant, and it gives a creature -3/-3, so you can, like, do weird things mid-combat and sort of screw them up, or just kill something outright with 3 or less toughness. But, you know, 4 mana isn't nothing. You have to consider that. And also, there are some large creatures in this format that are just kind of difficult to deal with. Other mentions here, like Elvish Rejuvenator's good. I haven't been super impressed with it so far, but I still think you're supposed to take it reasonably highly. Hostile Minotaur. This guy's decent. Not like a super high pick, but I'm partial to Minotaurs and haste creatures, and 4 mana 3/3s in red with upside. Daggerback Basilisk also, like, okay. So here's the thing. Like I was saying before, Banefire is, like, pretty splashable. You just need 1 red mana. This card's good at any point in the game. I don't think we should consider ourselves married to red right now. So, like, my natural instinct is, like, stay on red, take the Disciple. But I think I'm supposed to take one of these removal cards. And as such, I think Take Vengeance is the better one of the two. Not only is it cheaper, but it can kill large creatures, and that's the thing I'm most worried about in this format. So I'm going to take Vengeance. So what we got going on here? Skymarch Bloodletter. I continue to think this card is pretty good. A dual land that doesn't help us play Banefire or anything, but these tend to be pretty good. Trusty Pack Beast, I don't think is amazing. Lightning Mare, also not, like, incredible. Can't be countered, can't be blocked by blue creatures, but most decks are more than 1 color in Limited. And it also has, like, 2 mana to increase its power by 1 until end of turn. This is, like, pretty good rate on this uncommon zombie, but I don't think this is a super high pick. Like, it still ends up being a 2/2, even if it's for 1 mana. So, like, it ends up dying or trading to a lot of things that 2 mana cards do. And still you get a better rate because you're only spending the 1 mana on it and you can play it early, but it's just not that exciting. I think in this pack it's pretty clearly between the Skymarch Bloodletter and Druid of the Cowl. And I'm really not sure which one's better. Because I've seen the black-white decks in this format do some really strong things, my leaning is probably a little bit towards the Skymarch Bloodletter. But it's like, it's pretty close. I think either one's defensible. I don't think anything else in the pack is particularly close, though. I'm gonna take the Bloodletter. Okay. Oh, alright, we're seeing some stuff here. So, Disperse is pretty good. It's not exactly removal, but it is interaction. Certain blue decks can use this as effectively as removal, but I think those are kind of hard to build in this format. Also, you know, it's a cheap instant, which is nice. Also have Ravenous Harpy, which is, like, pretty good. It's a 3 mana 1/2 with flying, so, like, not incredible stats. But it has pay 1 mana to sacrifice another creature and put a +1/+1 counter on it. So if you hold up mana, you can use it to respond to their removal, or, like, turn your chump blockers into power for this thing over time. It can be very threatening. There's also a deck that can be constructed in red and black where you take a common red card called Act of Treason, which lets you sort of take their creature for 1 turn. So you can, like, take their creature, attack them with it, and then sacrifice it to this. So you basically destroy their creature and get an attack on them with it, which can be very powerful. If I was convinced that we were definitely in black-white, I like Vampire Neonate a good amount. I think a little more than I'm supposed to. It's a 1-mana 0/3, so it blocks a lot of, like, 2-drops and stuff. And then it just gives you, like, something to spend your mana on. You spend 2 mana, tap it, each opponent loses a life, and you gain a life. So, like, it sort of prolongs the game for you if you have, like, late-game cards. Can help finish them off if you're a little bit more aggressive. It's pretty flexible, and I like it, even though generally 1-drops and 0-power creatures aren't extremely exciting. Hey, welcome, Anime. Welcome to the stream. No worries, and thank you for your, wow, it's already been a year with you, Anime. Well, thank you very much for a year of support for the Electric Narwhal. The crew salutes you. And this is, of course, exemplified by a chat filled with confetti cannons. By the way, I'm still attempting to test the Deckmaster overlay. I haven't seen anyone mention it in chat, but I think it should be working. I think I might have pinpointed what the problem was the last time I tried to use it. So is anyone able to see that working right now? If anyone can confirm that, that'd be great. I don't know how much else I could do other than what I've set up here, but we'll see. But as I was saying, if I knew we were in black-white and, like, had the life gain theme, I think I would take this, but because we're still kind of open, I think Ravenous Harpy is a better bet. It's going to be good in virtually any deck with a higher upside if we end up in red-black. And of course we want to play some amount of red for that Banefire, but that might just be a really light splat. Not good. Nego says she can see the overlay. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. So what do we have here? We're pretty far from playing Satyr Enchanter, I think. I'm still not exactly sure how high I'm supposed to rate this card. 3 mana 2/2, when you play enchantments, you draw a card. There is a sort of enchantment sub-theme, most heavily in green, but like a little bit in white as well. So, you know, it can draw you like late game stuff, and you know, that's very good, of course. It is in 2 colors, and like it by itself, 3 mana 2/2 is not super impressive. Got ourselves Walking Corpse, just the basic zombie is what that is. Aviation Pioneer's like pretty good. It's a 3 mana 1/2 that makes a 1/1 flying Thopter token. You guys know I love Thopters. So far we haven't seen a lot of signs that blue's open. We saw that one Disperse. Disperse is like pretty good, but I don't think it's like a super high pick in this format, so I wouldn't take that as a sign. This Aviation Pioneer's like more of a sign, but I don't know. This pack's generally kind of weak. I mean, Thornhide Wolves isn't terrible. It's kind of replaceable though. It's 5 mana 4/5. No other abilities, but like that's pretty good in this format. As I was saying, like big creatures can be just hard to remove in this format, and that can just win the day. It's better than the one you saw the other day. Or maybe it's this green. Well, either way, Cotillion, I'm happy to hear that. So I think what I'm gonna do here is take the Havoc Devils. Red hasn't seemed like super open, but I think it's probably... I think the best cards in this pack are like the Wolves, like what are these blue cards? Like Salvager is another one I have difficulty rating at this point. There aren't like a ton of just like easy to play instants and sorceries, but like this effect of playing a creature and also getting an instant or sorcery from your graveyard back is pretty powerful, but I think it needs to be in the right kind of deck, and so far I don't think we're there. I mean, there's something interesting to salvaging Banefire, but I feel like we're probably winning a game where we're doing that anyways. Yeah, I think this overlay is supposed to like show cards as they're presented in the Gatherer, so they should be pretty complete. But yeah, I mean, like, I think these cards are, like, reasonably similar in power level. Like, Havoc Devils is definitely a little bit weaker, but, like I said, this Harpy is, like, particularly good in a red-black strategy. in this format. Plus, we definitely want to play some amount of red. I think the upside here is big enough that I'm willing to take this here. Okay, this pack is not terribly exciting. Blanchwood armor can be very strong if you're very heavy in green, like mono green or close to mono green. Reliquary Tower is a sweet card that is really good in formats like Commander, and will be good in Brawl, but it's not very good in Draft most of the time. Scholar of Stars is kind of interesting. 4 mana 3/2 draws you a card if you control an artifact. We have no artifacts. I would not strongly consider this card here. I think we pretty easily take this 2-headed zombie. It's not great. This overall pack is pretty weak, and a 4-power menace creature can just be really annoying, so it's decent. We're not taking it over anything in particular, so it's a good pickup. Ooh, that's a late fiery finish. So like I was saying, it can be pretty difficult to like finish off like big red creature, or big creatures at all in this format. And this is also like a reasonable sign that red could be open. So like that's actually really cool to pick that up this late. Yeah. I mean, like other things we would consider picking are like Hostile Minotaur, which is just not as good of a card. Daggerback Basilisk is okay, but green hasn't particularly seemed open. White hasn't seemed open. Bog Stomper is worse than both of these. So yeah, I'm going to take Fiery Finish. Nice. Nice late removal. Another Vampire Neonate, but it's definitely starting to look like red-black is the way to go. Already got a few 4s already, but this pack doesn't offer us much in the ways of options, so I'm just going to take Hostile Minotaur. Could take this Forsaken Sanctuary to maybe splash our Take Vengeance. How could that possibly go wrong? Catalyst Elemental seems okay. I'm not sure exactly what kind of deck you want it in. Maybe a ramp deck where you just spend this card to, like, go over the top a little bit. We don't seem to be doing that right now, and we could probably get 1 or 2 of these later if we really want them. Because we're not totally committed to our colors yet, I think it is probably better to take this, although I'm not super excited about this splash plan yet. Another Hostile Minotaur is a little awkward, but I'm still going to take it over things that don't look like they'd be good in the deck we're building. Well, the dual land came back around, but we're not close to playing either of these colors right now. I don't think Trumpet Blast will be good in our deck either. I guess maybe if we somehow end up in white, I could want this Knight of the Tusk. Probably want it more than Trumpet Blast. Sure, a Walking Foot. 3/2 drop. We'll take this Naturalize over Sovereign's Bite as a show of disdain for that card. And a Fire Elemental that I don't expect to play, but might. Island to the sideboard. And let's continue opening good cards. Ah, I see what you did there, Magic Arena. Crucible of Worlds is a very valuable card in real life, but it has the same value as any other Mythic on Arena because of wild cards. This pack is not good. This pack is really not good. I mean, like, Reclamation Sage is a good card in a green deck. Again, green didn't... We saw, like, one, like, mediocre big common creature and, like, a kind of late Blanchwood armor. I don't think green is open. There's just, like, nothing in this pack I would want to take first out of this pack. I would hope to see this pack, like, 8th of all people at the table. You know, the stand is creatures you control get +1 power and indestructible until end of turn. Even if we were playing white, I don't think that's the kind of deck we'd be making. Maybe we just take Hired Blade so that we have more 3-drops. It's not good, but nothing in this pack is good. I could take the Crucible of Worlds, but I'm definitely not going to play it in the draft, and I don't think I want it for Constructed, so I'm just going to take this. Okay, what do we have here? Another Take Vengeance. That is kind of interesting. Gutter Snipe. is sort of on the red-blue instant or sorcery plan, which I don't think is super strong in this format. Also, blue didn't seem extremely open. Again, we could take it just as a 3-drop. I mean, a Johnny's Pridemate here is a strong white card. It's an incentive to be in the life gain deck. However, there's also a Take Vengeance here, and I think the way our deck has been shaping up so far, it's better for us to take this if we're going to take a white card. Because we're not already, like, committed to a life gain plan, but we are a kind of removal-heavy deck, considering where we are in the draft. So, like, especially if we end up splashing the white, these are going to be way higher impact than just this 2-drop creature that doesn't get there unless we somehow, like, swerve into the black-white life gain deck specifically. You know, we got another one of these Catalyst Elementals. I feel like I am likely to get this back, and the way this pack looks, it'll probably be the thing I take. Take a bad artifact 2-drop with a pumpkin head, but I'm not going to do that. Nothing else in this pack is very good. Diamond Mare is good in the black-white deck. It's a fine card to take, but it's not better than Take Vengeance. Even if this would, like, definitely make our deck, and Take Vengeance is, like, a maybe, we'd still rather have this. Oh, that's a late Vampire Sovereign. That's encouraging. This is quite strong. It's a 5-mana 3/4 uncommon flyer, and when it enters the battlefield, your opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. So, like, it's like a solid blocker, it's a pretty strong flying attacker, and also it, like, buffers your life total and, like, smacks your opponent when it comes into play. All for, like, 5, not even, like, 6. Like, that's pretty good. Other good cards in the pack. Rejuvenator, mentioned earlier. Angel of the Dawn is quite good, particularly in strategies that have, like, tokens, which are mainly red and white in this format, but just Angel of the Dawn is a 5-mana 3/3 flyer with other upside to it, so it's just generally pretty good. Starcrown stack, also pretty good. Just like a reasonable body with the decent ability to tap a creature whenever it attacks, so it makes blocking for your opponent awkward. And Skeleton Archer is pretty good. Again, fine body, 4 mana, 3/3. Deals 1 damage to something when it enters the battlefield, so like you can attack and they block and you finish off their creature, or just ping a creature, or there's lots of things you could do with it. But Vampire Sovereign is by far the best card in this pack, and I'm happy to be able to take it. Rise from the Grave. Epicure of Blood is another one of those life gain strategy payoffs. It's like decent. It's a 5-mana 4/4, which is pretty good, especially with just the upside of if you gain life, your opponent loses a life. Got Revitalize, which is sort of meant for that deck, but not super exciting. It's just an instant that draws a card and gains you 3 life. We have another 2-headed zombie. I'm not super high on this card, but it's decent. And then there's Rise from the Grave. I kind of think Rise from the Grave is better for us, especially if we end up splashing the white. I'd like to get at least like one other like fixing thing to splash these cards. But, I mean, Snapping Drake's like pretty good. Could take the Bogart Brute, I suppose. Is it better? How aggressive is this deck? It's actually like really confused at the moment. Because like, I mean, our low drops are like really whatever. These are like super generic stats. Ravenous Harpy can sort of go either way. It's a bit of a slower card, but the evasion can make it sort of a fast card. I guess we're like a little bit more aggressive than we are controlling. We do have like a couple removal spells. Yeah, I kind of think I do want the Bogart Brute. I'm talking myself into this. Like, if we were to get 2-headed zombie or Rise from the Grave back, I'd be pretty happy. I'd be reasonably happy with the Neonate. It wouldn't be as good in this kind of deck, but I think it's still good. But, like, yeah. I mean, especially if we do find the resources to be in the Act of Treason deck, where we, like, steal their stuff, like, being aggressive tends to be a little better. So, yeah, I like this. I like this plan. What do we have here? Suspicious Book. Oh, hey, look! Actual Act of Treason. Probably should just take that. So far, we only have one real sacrifice outlet in the Ravenous Harpy, but if we are aggressive, Active Treason's still decent. I don't hate, like, a Suspicious Bookcase in this kind of deck, but I don't think you should take it very early, because if you're trying to be aggressive, you don't really want a 0-4, but I like the fact that if you're in some sort of race game where you and your opponent are both just attacking each other back and forth, like, this blocks in the early game and then gives you an outlet to finish them off by making your creature unblockable, like, every turn. So this is a black-white... It's a black-white, red-black deck, you know, casual disc pile. There have been, like, a couple of weird packs where, like, the only good card was Take Vengeance. So, like, we took them, and we also have a Forsaken Sanctuary that we picked up at one point over basically nothing. We could take Dragon's Horde here to help splash the Take Vengeances, but, again, I think the upside on the possibility of getting into the Active Treason deck is high enough that I should probably take this now. While Active Treason is a common, for some reason I feel like I don't see them very often. I don't know if people are speculatively trying to get into the red-black deck very early or what, but I think I want to have at least one of this effect. And while Dragon's Horde is good, we don't currently have any dragons to trigger its bonus effect of putting counters on it that we can remove to draw cards. But Dragon's Horde is a really cool card. I like this card a lot. But Active Treason goes in the deck. Oh yeah, we're doing it. This is exactly the kind of card I would want after speculatively taking an Active Treason over a good card. So this is the red-black uncommon card in the set. It's 4 mana, 3/3 menace, already pretty good. When it attacks, you can sacrifice another creature to make it a 5/5 menace until end of turn. First off, it's another sacrifice outlet. Secondly, it's just a nice, pretty well-costed, aggressive creature with evasion. And it makes that Active Treason pick better. I mean, there's another Active Treason here. The odds that it wheels are super low. There's a non-zero chance I'd play a Goblin Motivator. I'm not exactly sure how to determine when this makes the cut or not. I think this card is more powerful than it looks, but not by as much as I personally think it is. Colossal Dreadmaw also just quite good in this format. What's Menace? Well, if the overlay is working, you could probably check that, but rather than be a jerk about it, I'll highlight this, and also just explain briefly that a creature with Menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So, it's evasion in the sense that if they have only one creature, they literally can't block it, and if they have only, like, 2 really weak creatures, like, I can still kill both of them, or whatever. Like the overlay. Yeah, people seem to be liking it so far. I've played Active Treason before in Echo. It's an effect I like, but not a lot of people are super big on it. Yeah, I'm gonna take this Brawl-Bash over and be super excited about it. Ooh, another Fiery Finish? I mean, it's not like super premium removal because it's fairly expensive, but it does kill mostly everything. Like, I'm pretty happy to be seeing these this late. A Pyromancer would be decent in this deck, and, like, Sure Strike would be fine. Particularly like this card. Infernal Scarring, I mean. And, no, like, I think we're pretty heavy in the red-black plan now, after getting the on-color gold card, after getting an Active Treason, after seeing some strong cards in these colors. Like, I think we're in the right place. I think it's still Fiery Finish over the 2-drop just because, like, I'm telling you, man, to me, so far, it has felt like the easiest way to lose in this format is to just not be able to answer, like, a 4/5 with no abilities. So I want to have a couple ways of doing that. I might not even end up playing both Fiery Finishes, but I still think it's probably correct to do that. Here I'm going to take the Catalyst Elemental just because we already have, like, a lot of 4s for where we are in the draft. I really don't think I need a 3rd Hostile Minotaur. It seems unlikely that I would play both, although I might play them over the Havoc Devils just to make our mana better if black ends up being the heavier color, which it could in Pack 3. I expect more black in Pack 3. But just to have, like, another 3-drop, I think this is probably better. And I will try to keep this in the vertical decklist mode because from my experience, the overlay gets a little wonky when you do it in the other view. I could take another 3-drop that's I think I'm more excited to play this than Catalyst Elemental in a lot of decks, but it's obviously very fragile as just a 4-2 with no abilities. But it also means if they don't have anything, you just hit them pretty hard. There's another Catalyst Elemental. It did in fact wheel from this pack where I suspected it would wheel. I think we take it. I don't particularly care about anything here. Oh, a Marauder's Axe. That's actually like a really nice late pickup. It's not like incredible in this deck, but getting it basically for free, like this kind of deck can really make use of it. Like if you give a menace creature +2 power, it's like way more annoying to deal with. It's like really hard to chump block a menace creature because you need 2 creatures you're willing to throw away to do it. Plus, if you put a Marauder's Axe on them and boost its power, then it's more likely to kill both of the things that block it. I don't know, none of these are good. I still don't want a Sovereign's Bite. Well, maybe I should have one for the sideboard. Just, I don't know. I doubt I would ever side that in. Smelt for the sideboard's pretty good. The opponent has artifacts I'm struggling to deal with. An on-colored card I don't want to play. And an island. Alright, so far this whole open well has been going pretty good. But what I'm going to say this time is, let's open well and have it be something that's good for draft. Because the last one got cheeky with me. Well, that didn't extremely work. I mean, we've got a shock here, which is pretty good. We've also got Volcanic Dragon, which is like a very good upgrade to our subpar Fire Elemental. Child Knight's a card I'd be reasonably happy to put 1 or 2 of in this deck. These are some generic red cards. Child Knight is the only black card in the pack, and I do think that red-black are the cards we're supposed to be, which is good, because on Arena it sometimes feels really hard to figure that out. But I'm going to take this Volcanic Dragon, because it's literally just a 6-mana, 4/4 Flying Haste Dragon. It's real good. Double cast is probably not something we want. This pack's like super bad for us. Heroic Reinforcements is a super sweet card. You create 2 1/1 White Soldier creature tokens. Then, all of your creatures get +1/+1 and haste. So basically the way this works is, you pump all the creatures you already have on the board, and then you add 2 haste 2/2s, and then you attack. If you play this at the right time, it's really easy to catch your opponent by surprise, and often just kill them outright. Now, we're maybe splashing some white, but even so, this feels kind of speculative. However, this pack's pretty weak. I don't think I want another Marauding Axe. I think the 1 is the exact amount I want. There is also a Luminous Bonds that I didn't notice at first. If I was going to splash something, even though this deck kind of wants to be aggressive, I think Luminous Bonds makes more sense. I take this, but I don't know that I expect to play it. I'm still not sure about the White Splash in general. We'll see how the deck comes together. If we're like a little short on playables we're happy with, I could definitely see dipping into the white, but as good as these white cards are, our deck could be really good if we just start getting a little luckier than these last 2 packs have been. What do we have here? Havoc Devils, generic 4-mana 4/3 trample, another Walking Corpse. Dragon Egg. We don't really have any Dragon synergy right now, although this is something that's like good to sacrifice to things like Ravenous Harpy, because what Dragon Egg does is just a small defender creature. It can't attack, doesn't have any power. But when it dies, it makes you like a little baby dragon thing that has fire breathing, so you can increase its power with red mana. So just because it's a good thing to sacrifice is probably the best card for our deck, even though, again, we don't have a lot of sacrifice outlets yet. But like the other cards in this pack are pretty whatever. We don't really need cards like those exactly. Okay. Nightmare's Thirst is an interesting card. Black uncommon. You gain a life, then you give a creature -X/-X, where X is the amount of life you've gained this turn. So again, this goes mostly into the black-white sort of life gain theme. It's not something our deck is very heavy in. Goblin Instigator is decent for our deck. It gives us an early play. We don't have a ton of those right now. Also, just the fact that it creates like 2 creatures means we can like chump block something with one of them and then sacrifice the other one, or sacrifice both of them to like Brawl-Bash Ogre over 2 turns, or make the Ravenous Harpy pretty big. Like, this is the sort of thing I'm happy to have in this deck. Also, similar note, Doom Dissenter kind of works in a a similar way. It's a 2-mana 1/1 that you can sacrifice. You know, it doesn't do much by itself, and then when it dies, it makes a token. So it's like another way to like get 2 creatures over time and like sacrifice them both for value. What do our colors look like right now? They're definitely looking a little more red after pack 2, so I think I am supposed to take the Goblin Instigator. But it's close. It's pretty close. What do we have here? Child Knight, Tormenting Voice. I don't think Tormenting Voice is what we're looking for. It's good in some decks, but I'm looking to make this deck a little bit more aggressive, a little more streamlined. Since our 2-drops are mostly like white removal spells I'm not sure we're playing, I think I'd rather have this Child of Night to just have like a little bit more in the 2 slot. Okay. We could take Stone Quarry here. Makes our white splash of like pretty strong removal a little better. Giving up a Goblin Instigator to do it? 'Cause I don't think I want a second Hired Blade after we like first picked it in pack 2. That seems sad. Your card's worth noting here. Like, Millstone is kind of interesting for a specific type of mostly blue-based decks, where you try to deck them out and make them draw from an empty deck to lose. This isn't the best example of cards that do that in the format. There's an enchantment that's a reasonable amount better. Also in the blue camp, draw 2 cards for 3 mana. Yeah, seems like this draft is going better than the last 2. Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems that way. I feel like this is an important pick here. And I think it's kind of close between the Instigator and the Stone Quarry. So, we're at 27. So hypothetically, let's trim the deck a little bit. So, if we... Can I make this? Okay, I can make it do that. So I don't think I want this Fire Elemental. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4-drops. Let's put Catalyst Elemental on the side. Because I'd definitely rather play Dragon Egg and Brute. Scout. Yeah, most of my 3s are actually quite good. Hired Blade, not so much. Same with Onake Ogre, but at least that has like some value of occasionally just getting them. I think I'd like another Active Treason. I don't think I'd want 3 necessarily. We don't have enough sack outlets for that to be really exciting. I still have this Banefire that I've not been thinking about for a while. Love me a Banefire. So this is really close. The problem is that we don't have a ton of ways to like weaponize our small creatures. Did I end up taking that Trumpet Blast? I'm pretty sure I specifically didn't. Which is funny, because like now that would be like a reason to take another token card pretty highly. So like, I don't know. Like, these white cards are good, but I think it might be better to just have like more consistent ways of turning on our sacrifice outlets. This is tough. I'm gonna be disciplined here. I think the correct thing to do trying to make this deck more aggressive is to just take the on-color card that's pretty good in the deck. Part of me really wants to take this and make our splashes viable, but I think Instigator is just better, especially if we get a little lucky with one of these last 2 available picks here. Hey, Demolition, welcome to the stream. Got the overlay up and running, so now you maybe understand what's going on. Okay. Normal Endurance is creature gets +2 power, and when it dies, return it to the battlefield. Yeah, I kind of want one of those for this deck, I think. Yeah, good checking up on that forest, Cotillion. Do you know what it does? I'm not picking the forest. What did you have for dinner, by the way, Demolition? Yeah, I think it's Abnormal Endurance. I'm not sure this makes the cut in the deck, but like nothing else in this pack is like close in consideration. Omniscience is a fun card. You can cast spells from your hand without paying their mana costs. All you have to do is play this 10 mana enchantment with 3 blue in it. But Abnormal Endurance is like a good way to like, you know, we can save like Brawl-Bash Ogre or like our dragon or our big vampire. Yeah, no, this sounds really good. I think I actually want this in the deck. I think we're off-white, which is really cool. Ooh, or we could take Cinder Barons. Ooh, are we supposed to take Cinder Barons? Like, Cinder Barons is good regardless. We don't have, like, 1-drops, so it's not, like, terrible if we draw it early. Also, thank you for the host demolition, as always. Had beef, green beans, fried rice, big salad. Sounds like a big, delightful dinner. I hope you enjoyed it. Walking Corpse. No. I think with our Instigators, the Walking Corpse we already have, and Child of Night, one of these I might cut, depending. Demolition, thank you for your 10-month resub. Now please forgive me while I fire a bunch of confetti at you out of, like, weaponized cannons. Look at all the blue cards. Yeah, it's weird, like, blue didn't seem open in the earlier packs, and now there's, like, there was a, I should have pointed it out before. There was a, I think it's called Departed Deckhand in our first pack, or in the pack 3 that we opened, and that card's, like, really strong in blue. It's, like, mostly an unblockable blue pirate for 2 mana. And then it also has the ability to make something else mostly unblockable. Yeah, you're just covered in confetti now, Demolition. It's a hazard of visiting the stream. I mean, I don't think I need another Hostile Minotaur. There is a chance I play both the ones I have. I don't think I want Walking Corpse, so I think I am supposed to take Cinder Barons. I'm not totally sure I play it, but I probably do. Here's the one we opened, so we're probably not going to see anything else we want for the rest of the draft, which is fine, because our deck is, like, pretty good. There's a couple of things that could improve it, but, like, I really shouldn't complain about it at all. I just, like, it's not, like, insane, it's pretty good. We've definitely gotten lucky with a couple of these things. Do I want this for, like, Constructed or something? I don't think I do, but I also don't want anything in this pack, so I'll just take the rare because. Hey, Trumpet Blast! Ooh, I should definitely take this for at least the sideboard. I didn't think there was a possibility of me getting one of these back. That's kind of nice. Lava Axe is playable. I don't think our deck is aggressive enough to want it, despite trying to be aggressive. This, like, literally just damages the opponent. It's a good way to finish them off, but if you can't get them in range of it, this card basically does nothing. Also, side note, you probably shouldn't cast this unless it's going to kill them, or if you're going to be able to kill them with, like, a burn spell on the next turn, but you need all your mana to do it or something like that. You don't just want to play this on turn 5 if you have other things to do. I've seen people do that, and it's not great. Because then you just sort of let your opponent know that their life total is lower than they think it is, and that's not what you want to do. I could take this Walking Corpse just to have it, or I could rare draft this land that seems like it might be useful. Oops, I did that one. One with the machine is cute. There's, like, some vague chance we might want to play it in Constructed in an artifact deck. Also, none of these cards are on color. Just rare drafting now. Another Smelt for the sideboard's decent. At a protest, whoever can have that Sovereign's Bite. And there's that forest. See, it could tell you in the forest wheel. We didn't have to pick it up. Alright, alright. So, our deck looks mostly like this. Wait, how many cuts? Like, not that many. 3? Okay. So, I think I actually want Walking Corpse over Child of Night, because we don't have, like, cheap early removal to clear, like, early blockers. Like, if we did, then, like, gaining the extra life might be relevant, but I think just, like, having the extra toughness is more relevant than the lifelink in this kind of deck. No, actually, are we just taking out the white cards? This is the tough one. And Glitter did spring cleaning at the office and took care of the old Christmas stuff. Wow, that is a specific task for the middle of summer. Between the right click. I like it. Yeah. I don't know what to do with these white cards. So, like, we could put the Child of Night back in. Do we have, like, other things we may... Well, maybe we put the Trumpet Blast in? How many non-creature cards do we have? Okay, so let's hypothetically take out the white cards entirely. Just whiffed on removing that from the deck. Okay, so now we need one more in the deck, correct? Okay. So then, if we put in the Trumpet Blast, so we have, like, things to do with our tokens, because we've got, like, a decent number of them, because we made a disciplined pick. Then our non-creatures are 7. I think this is our deck. Like, we have some really strong white cards, but I think what we're supposed to be doing is this garbage. Just, like, try to hit them hard, have some answers to big problems, have some ways to go over the top with these, like, uncommon bombs. Have some, admittedly... This is a 4-drop. I think I accidentally manually put it in 4. Yeah, no, I like the look of this, and we are mostly red, so having this Havoc Devils isn't, like, awkward. The only double black card we have is, like, our most expensive black card. We do have some more double red. Oh, let's get rid of this Forsaken Sanctuary. So now, we've got this uncolored dual lane. We probably keep this just because... Demolition says his work won the softball co-ed championships and passed the $1 minute per month? Wait, what exactly does that mean? Is that related to the softball thing? Is it just some company goal? Yeah, I don't know how this deck will play out, but I like the look of it. Oh, 1 million. I see. I got confused by the M/month and thought it was a rate thing. Inclining of, wow, that's great, Demolition, congrats. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 black symbols. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 red symbols. Yeah, like, I'm not thrilled with 6 swamps, but we do also have the Cinder Barons. I think this is about right. This kind of looks right to me. So, I'm going to call that the deck. Be pretty happy about it, but I'm going to take a restroom break real quick, so BRB. And then the draft begins! Ah, what a necessary interlude. Woo! Only have 6 hours. Wait, did they change it again? Oh no, there it is. Oh, interesting. So the sign up ends at 10, but then there's still okay. Interesting. Okay, let's go. I'm really excited about this. Like, the more I'm thinking about it, we got that late, like, Marauder's Axe, which is also good on the tokens, and it's good on our few menace creatures. Like, I think this deck's pretty solid. Like, the, what is it, Fiery Finish? that card's a little awkward, but at least it gives us answers to, like, really expensive things. The one thing we don't want to do is draw, like, really heavy on those early. So that's what our opening hand's gonna look like. Ooh. I'm happy to be wrong. This hand looks pretty good. No 2-drop, but this format isn't so fast that that's, like, a deal breaker. And the cards that we do have are pretty good. Like, all of our 3-drops here have evasion. Without, like, active treason or tokens or something, I don't think I would prioritize playing the Harpy. It would probably be one of these two, but, like, I'd be happy to. Watch out for John Hamm. Oh god, we're playing John Hamm. Oh wow, we even drew the 2-drop? Maybe we play the Ravenous Harpy after. Wow, our opponent played that tapped zombie. Remember when I was like, it's okay. Now I'm gonna get schooled by it, probably. This is how my life works. Okay. Well. Probably just trading our tokens for that, huh? Not particularly interested in just dying randomly. I mean, it's sort of a 2-for-2, but their enchantment draws them a card when their creature dies. But I'm pretty sure we trade anyway, because like I don't want to leave this, and none of our cards are like particularly good blockers against it or anything. I mean, what I could do. That's interesting. Maybe I'm supposed to take another hit from the 4-power guy. Next turn, block token on 2/1. Oh, they didn't attack. Oh, that's good for us. Yeah, maybe Ravenous Harpy's the play? Well, I guess we don't have the mana to activate the sacrifice. It's a little awkward. I was sort of considering, like, playing Abnormal Endurance to, like, pump up the guy that makes a token, have him come back and make a new token. So that way we just sort of, like, trade our spell for their 2 things and they draw a card. Either way, I think we're currently on defense. So the question is, do we hold the pump spell or play the Harpy? I think we... I think I'm gonna go for the pump spell. And it's a little awkward, but I think it just gives us the most value, and since we're on defense... I can't see the enchantment on the overlay. Really? You know, I heard something that suggested maybe you have to, like, look higher up than you're expecting. Wow, this deck is interesting. Whenever Infectious Horror attacks, each opponent loses 2 life. But it's a 4-mana 2/2. It kind of attacks with 4 power. They attack this turn? They might. I feel like they might. Playing all their stuff pre-combat, which they probably should not be doing. Yeah, okay, I'm glad that worked. I wasn't sure that that would work. Oh yeah, we get to do the thing, you guys. My favorite thing in all the world is to do the thing. So like now, as Demolition says, profit. So our guy gets bigger and trades with their dude. But then our guy comes back and makes a token. Hooray. Oh. Now we have things to use the token? Yeah. So let's go ahead and play our Ravenous Harpy, I think. Actually, let's think about this for a second. I mean, this thing's pretty annoying. We kind of want to, like, block it right away. Maybe I'm supposed to... Actually, yeah. This has got to be the right play. So if I play this guy first, then I'll still have, like, a sacrifice outlet next turn if I want it. But, like, it can also just, like, stop the 2/2 from attacking us. So no attacks into the 2/2, obviously. That's bad with our 1/1s. So far, this game's going pretty well. I mean, like, they haven't played any incredibly powerful cards or removal spells. They, like, made their one thing threatening surprisingly quickly, but it also was kind of fragile, so our 2-drop that we were lucky enough to draw fended it off. So consensus is we're liking the overlay. This is, wow, another one! Can you believe it? Another one of those! That's insane! What is this deck? Like mono-black weird stuff? Yeah, I'll trade both my tokens for this. I mean, it's not my favorite thing to do, but, like, kills their thing. Wait. Oh my god, that's not an error. Their deck actually has 40 cards left in it, doesn't it? Our opponent is playing to play every card they have special. I have a friend who does that. I would not recommend doing it. So their life total is high enough that I think I just, like, play the hostile Minotaur and don't attack with it? Is that correct? It seems awful. Maybe I play Skymarch Bloodletter and don't attack with the Brawl-Bash Ogre. Yeah? Yeah, I think I do that. I don't know. That turn seems kind of close. Like, most of the plays seem reasonable. I just, like... I don't know. They've demonstrated some weird stuff that makes me a little cautious to attack, even though I shouldn't. Cool. A non-creature, non-land card? Have fun. Walking Corpse. Walking Corpse. Okay. Well, I'm glad I played the flyer, is my takeaway from that turn. So this turn I could play 2 3-drops. Yeah. And the game is not trying to tap me out of all of my relevant mana. Cool. I like it. I can also play all of my spells pre-combat, but I have a flyer, so taste the flyer! It'd be nice to draw the other, because we've actually only cast one Goblin Instigator, so it'd be nice to draw the other one. Ugh, that's super cool. Okay. I think I'm just gonna, like, leave all of my aggressive ground creatures back to block and attack with flyers. Like, I don't know, I just don't know what to expect from their deck exactly. So I'm a little hesitant to just assume I understand how this game is going. And admittedly, I'm playing a little cautiously, but at the same time, like, we have these Menace guys, which are great, but, like, Bogart Brute, like, unless they block with specifically Walking Corpse and a 1 toughness creature, which is possible, but unless they do that, it's still trading, like, 1 for 1. So if they just block with any other combination of 2/2s, it only kills one thing. Same with Brawl-Bash Ogre, and, like, those are both better cards than any of their garbage, so I'm not looking to trade that. Plus, like, having these 3 toughness guys sort of, like... And I'll let you know on a secret, if you're planning on actually hitting me with that Rogue's Gloved up Infectious Horror. It will not happen. Okay. I figured it out. Hey, look, a 4/2. Very valuable. Let's just attack with flyers. Play a 4/2. Might sacrifice that to pump Brawl-Bash Ogre or something. I mean, I could use it on the Harpy, I guess. I'll say that I don't particularly like our opponent's deck. It seems like they just took every black card. It's like they tried to make a 60-card black deck from a draft, which is very difficult to do. It's hard enough to make a good 40-card mono-color deck, frankly. Most formats, that's not even possible most of the time. I suppose I'll play that mountain they know about. I'm just gonna attack with these. So wait, if I think I'm supposed to sacrifice the 4/2. I'll do that before damage. Maybe I should have done that last turn. Yes. Sacrifice a creature. This one. Submit. So now I'm dealing 4 a turn. So, like, now I don't really have to... Like, my board is stable, so I can just increase my clock when it's relevant, which is basically the turn I'm killing them. Because I'll hit them for 4 next turn, and then I can just sacrifice probably the Brute and just, like, kill them. Yeah, I lose 2 life. You got it. Congratulations. Alright, so block there, block a 2/2, take 4, they gain some life. Do I trade? Why would I trade? No, I don't trade. Because now I just, like, kill them, right? I probably just kill them now that they have no blockers. Why Random Friday stream? Because it's stress test day, which means there's discount drafting afoot. Welcome, cat. We're playing this sweet red-black sacrifice deck. Okay, so what does our turn look like? We have, like, 9, Yeah, they're dead now. Be dead. I will decline to sacrifice a creature, and instead just kill my opponent. But yeah, also, I think you showed up at the end of Wednesday's stream. Wednesday's stream was pretty much a bust. That draft went super poorly. So I was hoping to have a draft this week go well. And so far, I'm into this one. As our first game, so you haven't missed much. Our deck looks like this. And also, the overlay seems to be working this time. Got Volcanic Dragon, some really expensive removal spells, some like menace creatures of various descriptions, some things to sacrifice stuff, token generators, Trumpet Blast for the tokens, Marauder's Axe for menace things, or what. Like, we got some synergy, we got some good stuff. What other profiles are there? That's a very reasonable question. This was added with the patch that added Core 19, so I haven't actually talked about this on stream yet. So now there's a profile tab up at the top, and you get to pick your avatar. It seems to be like mostly planeswalkers that have cards in standard right now. There's some other like notable planeswalkers currently missing from this list, but it's a pretty good selection. I've chosen a Johnny Goldmane because he's one of my favorite characters that isn't currently dead. I think I've ranted about that in the past. We've got...
If you want something torched right, it's best to call a pro.
Jaya Ballard.
Let us fight!
Sarkinvol, that sounds right.
I can no longer stand by and watch.
Teferi.
I have faced worse than the likes of you.
Karn.
Hey, over here!
Chandra.
If it's a fight you want, then a fight you'll get.
Gideon.
Apologies for the smell. I've been recruiting.
Gross Liliana.
You will lose.
Tezzeret also sounds right. He should be madder, though. If you've read the Kaladesh block story, every scene he's in, he's just shouting at someone. It's really dumb. They made his character really stupid.
Beasts are much more reliable than humans.
Vivian Reed seems to be super edgy, is her character.
What a strange and magnificent world.
Nissa.
Don't worry. This is all just an illusion.
Jace. And let's see if we can get Karn to say the fun one.
I advise that you...
No.
I'm the...
Evil must not...
No.
You wanna...
I will fight.
No.
Let's...
I will fight.
No.
What?
Our actions...
No.
You wanna...
I will defend.
No.
I am Karn.
There it is. I am Karn.
Do not fear, my friend.
But I like a Johnny. So let's go back to the draft. Okay. This one. Draft. Play game 2. Hey, a robot! Yes, Karn. And in case you guys didn't notice, Karn is Karn. Karn is very popular. There seem to be a lot of players who are using the Karn avatar. And I assume that's like a good contingent of them are newer players who are just like, Karn is insane! Because he's very good. But like, I don't know, some of these other ones have really sweet... I mean, Johnny doesn't actually have that many, like, great individual planeswalkers. I just like his character. And he looks cool. This hand is less good than our last one. It's probably good enough to keep. Like, we have, like, way more red sources than black, so we're pretty likely to get red. Not necessarily by turn 2 to play the Instigator, but it's, like, a good shot at it. Especially since we're drawing first. Hired Blade is one of the weakest cards in our deck. We have the combo of make more tokens and Harpy to use them if our opponent isn't ridiculously aggressive this time. I think this is a keep. Yeah, I think this is a decent hand, Cat. It's not, like, incredible or anything. It's probably one of the weaker keepable hands in our deck, but I think it's still keepable. Yeah, Karn's story is interesting. I mean, I like the Mirrodin chapters of his story most, because I like Mirrodin, although everything that I like in Magic, in the story they always do something terrible to it. Like Bant, or Elspeth, or Venser, or Mirrodin. Hey look! Mountain. Tokens! I mean, the tokens aren't going to be very good against this, which makes me want to play a Harpy right away. Dang. Our opponent's just like, oh yeah? You're doing a thing? Counter that thing. This is acceptable, I take one. see what you say to Ravenous Harpy. Resolve. No attack. Karn has definitely had terrible things happen to them. Yeah, that's quite fair to say. They've said canonically, like, they've more or less implied that if Karn was a character that they created today, that they would treat Karn as agender, but like, there's a lot of precedence of Karn being considered male. So like most of the time people refer to Karn as he. Yeah, I think that's a really good active treason target. They might have something better, but like they will start running us over if we don't deal with it. So I'd rather just take it. That was weird. That's some weird lag. Yeah, so we get to attack first. You don't have to sacrifice right away like we do with Brawl-Bash Ogre. Oh, they're just not gonna block? Cool. I will use this ability. Yes. This one. Submit, eating their guy. Om nom nom. We did the thing! I told you guys I really like doing the thing, didn't I? Doing the thing is really my favorite. Karn is reasonably justified in wanting to nuke Nuferexia. Oh yeah, no, that's like, that makes a lot of sense for his character. Like, it's slightly weird because his character is historically generally pacifistic. Our opponent has a pretty good version of the artifact deck. I haven't seen a particularly good one so far myself. I think this is the sort of turn where we just hold up our nonsense. We have like instant speed things and we just like attack with our flyer. End turn. So we're probably gonna like chump block with token and sacrifice to Ravenous Harpy. But we'll see what they do. Yeah, they draw cards. There's Mr. Angst with the metal arm. That's Tezzeret. Yeah, Tezzeret's from Esper, and part of the whole thing on Esper is like they don't value the concept of life like at all. So their whole thing is just trying to like perfect existence. So they're like, let's replace all our parts with metal until we're like better than living. Okay, so now we sacrifice token, submit. And let's set a stop for the end of their turn to play our dumb flash creature. Ooh, departed deckhand. That one might be a problem. End of turn. Yes, go to end of turn. Play the hired blade. My turn. I'm a little flooded now. Manually tap because I definitely don't want to tap all my swamps, and the game knows that, and so it's just messing with me. So I think we attack here. Like, what is this block? Like nothing? Like nothing that isn't getting blocked by these chump nerds? Well, I suppose. Well, I can do that with the hired blade anyway. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to attack with the haste minotaur and the flyer. We're definitely in the aggressive position because their stuff is difficult for us to deal with. Damage happens. Cool. Is there such a thing as a robot army in this game? Sort of depends on your definition. You can certainly make an army of, like, robot tokens. Like, Karn makes robot tokens that care about how many other robots you have. So, they can get huge and out of hand. Will they make their one guy unblockable? Attack with the... One power flyer coming at me? No, I'm going to guess that they're trying to activate the ability of Departed Deckhand, but they can't at the moment that they're, like, deciding their attackers. I'm gonna do this. It's not the most exciting use of this combat trick, but if it works, it's pretty good. So they're probably just gonna assume that we're, like, gonna sacrifice our guy or whatever, but I'm gonna try and kill their Robo-Man. I think they have an answer to this. Next turn, can we try that and see if it's viable? What, Robot Army? I mean, like, we're kind of... Sure, that's fine. It's annoying that we don't have mana up to sacrifice our guy, but still, we made them spend a counterspell on that. I think we're still supposed to attack here. We definitely don't have all of the parts for Carnifex deck. We will definitely make that deck at some point. Although, honestly, I'm very excited about trying to make a dragon deck right now in Standard. So the question is, do I sacrifice my guy? I'm pretty sure the answer is no. I think I just accept this and kill their unblockable guy, because I feel like that's the way we are most likely to lose the game, is to that. I mean, we need to stop drawing lands because we're fairly flooded. Or if we draw, like, Fiery Finish or whatever and just kill this one thing, then, like, we're just super way far ahead. But, like, right now our plan is chump block this one guy, make our thing a 4-power flyer. And then we have a couple ways to, like, just win off the top of our deck, and multiple ways to, like, really shut down their counterattack. So, like, I like our position, but we're in slightly precarious shape also. I think you know how this goes, my friend. Oh, they're gonna chump block the flyer on this next turn. That makes sense. So do the blocker, and before damage, we will use the ability to submit that one guy, become a 4/5. Well, remember how I said we had some ways to just win the game? How about if we deal 6 to them, and here's a fun thing about Banefire. If the X of mana that you pay is 5 or greater, the spell can't be countered. So even though they're blue with a bunch of islands untapped, they can't counter this if we just dump all of our mana into it. Yeah, we have 7 total, so X is 6. Become dead. Oh, Neko, you're heading out? Have a good night. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed Banefire. They're trying to cancel it! Oh, I love that that was relevant. That makes me so happy that that mattered. I don't think I've ever actually gotten to cast Banefire where the opponent could have countered it if it was a different spell. I'm such a jerk. But I also really like Banefire. Banefire is like one of my favorite X spells, and I really like X spells. Alright, so we're doing pretty well on profit since this was like half price to begin with. Let's see how far we can take it. Thank you, chat, for all the confetti cannons. I'm sure someone will clean that up later. This is something I always marveled at. My sister used to perform in these daily parades when she worked at Sesame Place, a theme park in Pennsylvania, themed around Sesame Street. Ooh, this hand's not very good. I think I have to mulligan this hand. But yeah, like, woof. There's like a bunch of confetti cannons close to the end of that parade, and then like the street is just a nightmare of confetti stuck to everything. And I always wondered, like, how do you deal with that? Don't have the emote, so I'm sorry to hear that, Cat. Although also I think you have to space between them is a separate issue. Wow, this hand is also not very good. This hand is actually worse than the first one, but I don't think I want to go to 5. At least we get to scry this time. This looks like a game we could easily lose. Easily. 2-drop? Taking the 2-drop. It's not great, but we can play it. Depending on what their deck does, it might be good. Wait until August 20th. Oh, you are too kind, Demolition. Man, I gotta tell you though, today is July 20th, as I stated at the start of the stream. And I'm super bummed because July 20th was the day I was alleged to get the sketches for our subscriber badges that I commissioned that can't go active yet anyway, so it's not that big a deal, but I was really looking forward to that, and it seems like the artist is behind schedule for a couple of their ongoing projects, so I don't even know when to expect it now, because I haven't seen any updates on that yet. So that's one of the things that was bumming out my day. So our opponent seems to be on the go-wide strategy with that red-white uncommon that I mentioned earlier during the draft. That seems quite good. Definitely hoping to draw a 3-drop. Well, I think a lot of our 3-drops are black, which is awkward. Not attacking into any of that noise. Pretty sure we just block token on that thing if they attempt to attack us. Normal endurance could be good at some point. We don't have black mana. A scorpion on the table. No, you're correct. That is a scorpion. Like most streamers, I will make the comment like, boy, I wish I could interact with and/or squish this. Look, the rare double scorpion! I only recently noticed that this was a thing. Normally, there's just one scorpion that sort of like slinks back and forth between either side of the board, but sometimes you'll see 2 at the same time. I genuinely think that may have been added in the most recent patch. So they have this dumb flyer that I don't like, but like isn't a huge amount of pressure on us. We're gonna need to draw some good stuff, because right now we have no black mana, don't have great plays for anything in particular. I mean, I don't know, maybe they have a trick? I will gladly trade my token for the card in their hand if they're willing. Were there 2 on the left before? I don't think I've seen 2 on the left. So far, I think I've only seen 2 on the right. The wonders never cease, Demolition. The wonders never cease. Okay. Alright. Hey, okay. Alright. I think I like just attacking now. Shields are down a little bit, but even if they play that super sweet card, they're pretty much only attacking with the tokens and then like 1 additional 2-power creature. If they play like a big thing, I will finish it. Well, I guess I need 1 more turn and 1 more land to do that, but we'll get there someday. I also don't anticipate them playing a particularly large one. Oh wow, look, the 2 scorpions again. What is happening? Oh, they're gonna spend their Hieromancer's Cage on my 3/3? Well, I guess they have 1 card left in hand. Both of our hands are pretty... Oh. Both of our hands are pretty great, is what I was gonna say, because Brawl-Bash Ogre is here. Urgh. This deck wants to win, you guys. Kapow. Hit him. Hit him. Kind of hoping that they'll play something to block with that I can, like, trade my boosted token maker with. No? Oh, I could do that. I can just have a 5-power Menace Man. How about that? How about the 5-power Menace Man? Decline on this particular turn. It is sufficient to me to do 6 damage to them. So, one thing I will say, I don't like to be highly critical of my opponents. There are a lot of people on here who haven't drafted before, particularly now during this event where they've just pushed a bunch of beta keys, and in fact, if anyone in chat wants beta keys, I have 5 of them. They're not, like, particularly provided by Wizards for my stream or anything cool like that, but they gave them to everyone, and all of my friends who play Magic and would remotely be interested in this already have beta keys. So if anyone wants one, let me know. I can get them to you. But before, they just, like, spewed off Sure Strike to deal, like, an extra 3 damage to my face. Generally, you don't want to do stuff like that. The reason being that a card like that can kill one of my creatures, which is way more helpful to you than just reducing my life total by 3, unless it kills me. So, like, that's a time when you use it to hit me, is when it just kills me. Sadly, I don't have time for this. Seems like a real time commitment. I mean, you can play pretty casually, I think, but I also respect that and would not pressure you. Here's a question. If you were legit in this game, a la Jumanji, what would your deck be made up of? That's a really interesting question. One moment to think, partially just because I think I can kill them this turn? No. No. I can't kill them this turn. So instead, I will just attack with the Menace guy and see if they try to trade, which I suspect that they will. Blockers. I mean, I definitely think that my, like, a deck that's sort of, like, based around me as a person would be some combination of red, white, and blue. I think those colors definitely most represent my personality. As it turns out, my guy will come back from the dead. So we'll kill your guys. And then I will turn to the field, and then I will carry an axe again. Enjoy having a turn, my friend. Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard for me to say. Like, the thing is, I feel like those colors represent all of the elements of my personality, but, like, my personality is in flux depending on various things, like my emotional state and things of that nature. I think I'm just gonna normal attack and play it somewhat safe. Not, like, sacrifice the guy, because it doesn't kill them, and then if they do instant speed kill my guy or something, it's really awkward. Like, I like the sort of, like, cunning of like, blue magic and the fact that it's, like, very flexible and stuff like that. I like the sort of elemental nature of just, like, blow up a thing or blast a guy with lightning that red has. But then I also feel that, like, white's nature of, like, imparting law to something, like, restricting its movements or, like, making it not do specific things is, like, something I'm interested in. So, it's kind of tough for me to say beyond that. On a day like today, I would say it would be red-white, and not so much blue. This is exciting. Let's play another game. I think we are advantaged in that, like I said, we've just pushed through a bunch of new players into the game, and we've incentivized a bunch of people to be drafting right now, who maybe haven't drafted before. We've seen some decks with some, like, interesting and maybe subpar choices to them. Like that first, like, mostly mono-black deck. Like, I think they made some decisions to pick up cards that, like, aren't super high picks in order to just stay, like, mostly black. And, like, you know, if you saw Wednesday's stream, which I will not post to YouTube, with that mostly green deck, you can see how badly that might go. That deck was bad. This hand's pretty good, though. Goblins, dragon, kill a thing. I like it. Got 3 lands, both colors. I'll keep this. Cat Dreaming says, eyes tend towards green, white, black. Hey, those are the same colors that Tech says. Tech's favorite colors are green, white, black. He's kind of similar to me in that, like, he likes all 3 of them, but kind of in different amounts on different days, but, like, those are his 3 colors, where red, white, and blue are mine. Oh, it's my turn. Whee! Also, they apparently mulliganed. Also, whee! Wait a minute. Sundays are more red than green. Wait. You said green, white, black, right? You're just saying sometimes also red? Just not blue? Or am I misinterpreting something? Tap land. You got it, friend. I don't have anything double black until turn 5. Let's conceal the color. Tokens! Okay, so you're saying mostly not blue? There's a lot of people, I think, who would say, would define themselves largely by, like, definitely not blue. And I respect that. Like, there are certain things to the way that a blue deck plays that are very frustrating to a wide variety of players. But, you know, I'm not super heavy on the countering part of blue. I like the fact that counter spells are flexible in the sense that, like, they are a way to answer anything, because I value flexibility more highly than, like, most attributes a card can have. Which is, again, like, a reason why I particularly like blue. It has a lot of effects like that, where you can, like, bounce any permanent, so it's, like, flexible in that way. And blue ends up with a lot of mechanics like flashback and overload that are sort of good early and good late for different reasons. So, like, those are the things I particularly like about blue. Unfortunately, we have nothing to do on turn 4. I do, you know, like I said, I do like that counter spells are flexible in that way, but also, like, I appreciate the fact that counter spells can be frustrating. I try not to play them too much unless I'm, like, strictly in some sort of competitive setting. Well, at least we have the mana for Volcanic Dragon. I don't think I'm supposed to Act of Treason. I think I just wait for the Volcanic Dragon at this point. At some point, the Act of Treason will be good for something. Doing a quick read. Mostly blue with lots of black. Even mixed white, red. Not too much green. Interesting that people are defining themselves mostly by the colors they're not. It's like a thing I see people do, but also not a thing I think is, like, extremely common. How do I feel about, like, trading for Death Touch guy? That's probably pretty good, right? We could trade with the Vigilance thing and attack them. No, I think the Death Touch thing is more threatening. Okay. Sure hope they're not main decking Plummet. They probably aren't. My turn is ended. Yeah, Karn is colorless. He sort of represents living artifact, which makes sense because he's more or less a living artifact. Enjoy controlling the field of battle. Oh, look at that thing they did. Does that kill me? If that doesn't kill me, I think it might just kill them. No, I would need 9 to do both of those things. So, how likely is it, do I think, that they have... This thing has trample, right? So I can't just, like, chump block it. I think I'm supposed to... Well, I guess they can't chump block it either, right? That's the flip side of the coin. So if I active treason them, they can soak up 2 of that damage. So they take 9, 13, 16. Cool. Great. Thank you for giving me the means to kill you. They literally can't block either of these 2. If they block this, they take lethal. How? This is what you get for playing a stupid rare that blows people out randomly. Pretty sure this is lethal. If it's not lethal, I'm dead, but I'm pretty sure it was exactly lethal. It's funny how I like, forgot trample, so I was like, oh, I guess I can't kill them. And then I was like, wait, I can't survive because it has trample. Wait, it has trample, they're dead. See, that's why I like active treason. It's like, your opponent does something ridiculous, and you're like, that's really cool. May I? And the answer is yes, because they don't get a say in it. Unless they're blue. But you can't counter a Banefire for 6. We're definitely on a roll. Like, this deck is pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie. We definitely got lucky with a couple of extra sweet additions into this deck. The Volcanic Dragon, that was like pack 3? Yeah, because pack 2, I remember we took something really... Like, we took, like, Hired Blade in our first pick in pack 2. But yeah, we got, like, the Haste Dragon in pack 3. Banefire's, like, a really good first card. Like, it helps that we ended up in red, but you really don't have to be in red to take Banefire. I can't stress this enough. You splash that card, it's very strong. And also highly splashable because it only has 1 colored mana symbol. This hand is a little awkward, but I think it's a keep. We got 3 lands, both colors. We can play the Dragon Egg on 3. If they're aggressive, it turns into a flyer, which can either trade by fire breathing or just threaten them if we stall out the board with these generic creatures afterwards. Kind of fun to watch you stop reading my reasoning halfway through to proceed to smite them. Yeah, yeah, what were you saying? I enjoy controlling the field of battle, which is a very wide strategy. Quite willing to burn myself out to achieve victory. So that sounds black. Yeah. Give me a chance to follow. Yeah, okay, I see. Watch You Were Never Here? That sounds familiar, but I don't believe I've seen that. No, Demolition. Okay. White could mean a lot of things. We've seen a blue-white artifact deck, and we've seen a red-white aggressive deck that sort of flooded out mostly against us. Our hand is not great. Like, the Trumpet Blast was not a particularly good draw for this hand, I will say. Would have been nice to draw 2 drop, but the 1/1s don't tend to attack much, which is why, like, they're good in this kind of deck that we have, which is why I've, like, started prioritizing them in Pack 3, when luckily, again, we got pretty lucky there. Oh, okay. For a second I thought we were gonna crash the client again. Yeah, let's play our Dragon Egg. But yeah, like, if we just didn't get 2 of those, like, 2-drop Goblin token makers, like, our deck would be, like, a reasonable amount worse. Like, we definitely got some lucky things. Like, even just getting 1 copy of the on-color gold uncommon is pretty strong. Didn't get land is awkward. So they're green-white. We've actually seen a reasonable array of colors tonight. Often we'll see the same, like, color pair like 2 or 3 times in a row for no particular reason. On a person's wreck, might watch it tonight. Is it a movie? Or is it like a series on Netflix or something like that? Alright, we've made their guy into a 3/3, which makes sense. Ah, I see. That's not good. I feel like we're reasonably likely to lose this game. I'm gonna take the first hit of 6 and trade with their tokens since they've tapped out. At some point I definitely chump block with the Dragon Egg, but I don't think that's super useful yet. Starring Joaquin Phoenix. I believe that's the correct spelling, yeah. Okay, well, we're continuing not to draw especially well in this game. That is okay. We've been doing well so far. We get a couple of freebie losses. One of these days I would really like to just 7-0 a quick draft, but it is pretty difficult to do. I mean, you're certainly not even guaranteed to 7-0. So, yeah. Mostly dialogue free. Oh, interesting. Those can be very good. Ah, red creatures can't block this horse. Wow, it would be so good if we could cast this Fiery Finish that we definitely cannot cast. Oh, it has Trample now, huh? Did it have Trample before? Wait, did it? Yeah, it did. Okay, so it would have made sense to chump block it last turn anyway. I guess I'm taking 7. I'm probably losing this game. Like, our opponent just has a very specific kind of start that our, like, really awkward draw does not pair well against. We, like, literally can't take another hit, which is awesome. And if we don't block the horse with our black creature, then we just take another... Wow, this is real bad. We're almost certainly losing. I can't really imagine a situation where we don't lose the game. Maybe I should have blocked with the Dragon Egg earlier just to have more power on the board. That probably was correct. I don't think that affects the outcome of this game significantly. Jiminy Christmas. Are we literally dead now? Is that enough to literally dead us? So, like, I definitely have to block here. So then I take 1 from that because it has Trample. And then if I block 2 here, then I take 5, 6 total. Like, since I can't block this one, I think this is my best block. It's not good. We will die. Maybe not this turn? It'd be mildly annoying if the last card in their hand was a pump spell, but at the same time, it wouldn't make much difference either way. We're at 1, and we're totally hosed. Okay, well, these cards are a little late to the party. So... oh, that's so awkward. Yeah, I don't think there's anything we could do. We're, like, so close. Like, if we just hadn't missed that 1 land drop... Like, if instead of Trumpet Blast, we had just drawn a basic land, I think this game's actually winnable. Not like we would definitely win, but, like, oh, wait, we gain life when we play this. So if we do that, and then... yeah, you know, we might not be out of it. Now we can take a hit from this thing, and we can trade these 2 for their 7/7, and, like, not take damage from it. Like, we are on the brink of death, don't get me wrong, we're not, like, close to just, like, winning the game. It becomes the target of the... oh, no, something increased its power by 1, we lose the game. Like, that's literally... that's the game. Yeah. Yeah, none of this matters. Because, like, if I don't trade with this now, Well, actually, is that correct? Well, yeah, it has trample. They both have trample. If they didn't both have trample and I could chump block this, then, like, I could at least, like, fiery finish something if I drew a land, but, like, we're dead. I mean, like, that was a very good draw from our opponent, but, like, a very legitimate win. Like, a deck that's that heavy on those kinds of cards can easily just have, like, a really awkward draw where it only has the enchantments or whatever. So, like, just because that deck totally hosed us doesn't mean that deck, like, always wins that easily. Some people overvalue auras when they start playing because it's like, oh man, look how, like, insanely powerful that one creature becomes. And true enough, that can be very difficult to deal with, especially when our removal costs 6. But it's also kind of fragile. Because, like, if you notice there, we traded our 2 creature for their creature and, like, 3 of their cards. So we got, like, a 2 for 4. It was just, like, they got enough tempo advantage for making the guy big, and the trample was really the big part. If we could have chump blocked for a couple turns, I think that game's, like, really not out of hand. General strategy is control, dominate, feedback loops. Oh, you're a combo player. What do we have here? I like this hand better going second. We do have 2 2-drops to play, and some powerful cards. Like, if we get up to Brawl-Bash Ogre, this hand's pretty good. I think this one's close. I think this is a keep. It's not a great keep, but I'm gonna keep it. Hello, Zeros. If you ever play Gray Goo, I love the goo. I don't know what that is, but I know that Tech's family has some secret recipe they call goo, and it makes me unhappy. Repeat until you eat the map? That sounds interesting. Okay, we didn't draw a land, which is really bad. I think in this case, I want to play Walking Corpse first. It has a greater chance of attacking or whatever. I would love to draw 2 lands in it. Even tapped land. That's not that thing I said. Alright, we might be in for another rough run. Our opponent's start doesn't seem to be as... Okay, nice. I don't know why that's nice. Do they have... Oh, maybe they have, like, Plague Mare and our parade is just rained upon? If they go Swamp Plague Mare, they can reduce the toughness of all my creatures by 1, so they would both die. Okay, they didn't have Swamp, so... Okay. I guess they just really like Goblin characters or something. Okay, that also isn't a land. Let's get this attack here. I think we're definitely aggro in this, like, really... Wow. God, I don't know what that means. It doesn't seem good for me. Yeah, Demolition, you sound like your general mentality is a combo strategy as it relates to Magic. Ah. Yes, we are in awkward shape. At least we drew a 3rd land. So... Yeah, I mean, the thing we do is we just, like, flash in this Hired Blade. Active Treason's good, but I would rather use it when we either have a way to sacrifice the Geoman that we take from them, or we kill them somehow. I mean, in some, like, you know, there are a lot of players who just don't have strong color preferences either. I mean, like, everyone has some color preferences, but, like, I'll play all colors, you know. I get to choose the thing I discard, right? I think it's just my most expensive card, right? I think everything other than this is more valuable than this, despite the fact that I like it a lot. Yeah, I think this is correct. Especially since we're, like, really crimped on land. Yeah, I discarded a card. You did it. I take some damages. My turn. Instead, I play Hired Blade. These draws are not great. I think I attack with both of these. Like, they will probably just block there, but both their creatures have flying anyway. Interesting. I successfully bluffed them. Wow, there's like a non-zero chance I can just get them with this active treason. And just like win this game I have no business winning because of how badly it started. Oh, it'd be so good if they attacked with both of their things and only played something that couldn't block a flat. Okay. Does that kill us? No. Barely. This active treason is doing some work for us. I mean, they could have something to just ping us for 1 in black by just, like, draining life. It's not extremely... Oh. Well, that was unfortunate. Again, I don't know that that's a... No, I suppose if we had drawn our lands on time, that would have been a winnable game. But that was a close game, and I think that was a close mulligan keep decision. Well, it's unfortunate that we lost 2 in a row. Let's win this next one. Can we agree to win the next one? Chat, I need you all to agree with me on this. We're winning this one, right? This one we win? Like, if they hadn't killed us that turn, we definitely would have won. Like, that was still a very close game. No, Demolition, come on. Be cool. We have to agree on this. If we lose this game, it's your fault. You know that, right? Now that you've said that? I don't know. You better hope for a good hand, or else it's all your fault. Guess our opponent is going first and deciding their mulligan. The great thing is, if we do scrub out, we got some gold. We still have some time to sign up for a new quick draft. I say we just run it back. Go back in time and win the last one. I mean, I'd like to do that, Cotillion, but we're not playing blue for time magic. Ugh, this hand. This is like the last one, but I like it less, because I can't actually play my 2-drop. Alright, let's mulligan this. Okay, this hand is better, but not good. Our recent draws have not been as good as our early ones, that's for sure. Don't leave forever, Demolition. Quiet, you. Just stop telling me to lose. It's rude. Get to scry. I hope I get to scry something good! Yeah, I definitely think we keep this over mulliganing to 5. We also definitely shift Mountain to the bottom. Like, that's not close. What was theirs? I don't remember. Alright, a black card that I can't play. Very exciting. Don't play a thing? Okay, a black thing I can't play. Very exciting. I mean, this Marauder's Axe makes these tokens better. Marauder's Axe would have been good, but not great in the last game. It was pretty fun to win that one game by active treasoning the, hey look, a swamp to play black cards. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I will offer to do the thing. I feel like this telegraphs reasonably hard. That I'm not attacking with both. Yeah, that's fine. I'll play this. Like, if I didn't, like, threaten to do the combat trick, this is my only realistic play. Because, like, playing this and wasting a mana seems really bad on this turn. Like, next turn, if I don't draw anything relevant, I can at least land, play the axe, put it on... Not the flyer, clearly. That's fine. Yeah, I can't play the tap land this turn because I do want to play the axe. Let's put it on that one so that we can continue to threaten that. Because, like, they just won't want to block this one if it just has 3 power. I think we saw... Yeah, wasn't the deck that played the giant trample enchantment green-blue also? Which is the goblin you like? The one with the friend, or the friend? But yeah, the token definitely looks like the guy in the background, too. That's really cool. I like that. It's good attention to detail. What you got for me, friend? Hungering Hydra. Okay, we don't need more lands, as it turns out. Attack. I'll do this all day, son. Then she's gonna have to call my bluff, right? No, I suppose if he doesn't, he just takes more damage. It's acceptable. Is there a hungry hippo in this game? Yeah. I think there's one literally called, like, Ravenous Hippo from, something in the Amonkhet block. There's also... It would be difficult to spell this, but if you can figure out how to spell Feldegriff, I encourage you to look it up because it's amazing. I take 6 here. They're kind of like mana stuck. Oh. Hey, you know what card's really good when you've drawn too many lands? An X spell that kills your opponent. So we can do it for 5. That's awkward. I think yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure I attack with the token, move the axe onto the other guy, and threaten my combat tree. I should have manually tapped that, but I think we'll be alright. So majestic. Yeah, that's the one. Isn't that just such a glorious card? I love Feldegriff. It's so bizarre. This thing does some weird thing, right? So this is rare. Hungering Hydra. They played this as a 2/2. There's the battlefield with X counters on it. It's similar to Banefire. You put a variable amount of mana into it. Can't be blocked by more than one creature. Cool. That's fine. Whenever it's dealt damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. Okay. Worth noting, the way that's phrased is that if it dies by being dealt combat damage, it stays dead. It doesn't gain the counters first. It responds to taking the damage. A deck made of only majestic things that a 5-year-old girl would want. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm like looking for dumb concepts for decks, and that's one that hadn't actually occurred to me. I will probably make Feldegriff into a commander deck that is just like beautiful girl things. That sounds amazing. That's fine. This is totally acceptable. I mean, I could still block their thing. They've used all their mana. I'm pretty sure they've lost the game now. Oh, they're not attacking. Okay. So... 2, 6. We need another land, so instead... play this guy. If we ever just draw a land from this point forward, they die. If we get to untap with these creatures, the menace will probably, like, ruin their couch, which is fine. Yeah. Unicorns, although there really aren't enough unicorns in Magic either, which is... They've recently started adding more unicorns. For a long time, there were, like, 3 of them, and it's like, this game's called Magic, right? Magic the Gathering? Like, a game that should have some gosh darn unicorns in it? Which does it cost? Move the axe? 2, which is why I didn't do it, because I want to save my pump trick for reasons. Oh. Okay. So, we play more goblins. We, I'm gonna manually tap this because I don't have a tremendous amount of confidence in auto tap. So I'm gonna move this onto the Menace guy. And then I'm going to attack with just the Menace guy. He will become a 7/5, which will, like, kill all their stuff, basically. We'll sacrifice the one that has this thing on it. Like, they have to block it or they die. There's a chance it might have been correct to just attack with everything and then save the Banefire. For some reason this felt safer to me, but now that I'm thinking about it more, it's probably better to, like, save the mana. Yeah, no, this play didn't make any sense. Definitely put this first. Do I save my guy? Yeah, I think I do. Just because it's, like, really annoying for them. Like, everything's dead now. So now that we've, like, cleared 2 of their creatures off the board, we are very likely to be able to kill them with or without drawing a land. And draw our tap lands, so any land we draw would make the Banefire lethal. Now we just attack. Am I supposed to sacrifice here? It doesn't matter, I literally just need to deal 1 damage. I'm gonna decline this. Blockers. And even if they had blue mana up, we have enough X to make Banefire uncounterable, because that's just a thing it does. I really like Banefire. Why is Hungry Hydra back near their hand? It wasn't the Hydra. They put an enchantment on the Hydra to make it bigger and give it trample. And the reason it's near their hand is because it has a return this to their hand from the graveyard ability, like, you know, Eternalize or whatever that we've seen in the past. X of 6, kill opponents. Our future Shadowrun missions involves finding unicorn shapeshifter who can speak English. That sounds amazing. My friend showed me a weird cartoon that has a horse that randomly speaks English in it. It makes me think of that. Because shapeshifter won't be hard to find, just look for the unicorn or naked woman. Oh, like it's a specific shapeshifter, not a anything shapeshifter. That's funny. Which actually raises an interesting point, Demolition, is that we can also play shapeshifters in that deck, things that, like, copy creatures on the board to make them into, like, additional glorious unicorns and stuff. Animals can't wear clothes. I like the concept that animals can't wear clothes as like a law of physics or something. Like, it's like, clearly this is a human because it is wearing clothes. Ooh, how about this hand? This is tough. It's like right in this uncomfortable spot of, like, if we draw too many lands, we're able to cast these expensive cards, but we've done nothing and could easily lose the game. If we draw... yeah. This is sketchy. I think it's arguably keepable, but I don't think I like a hand with both of these and, like, not much to do early. It seems too easy for that to go wrong. So I'm gonna mulligan. This isn't great, but I like it a little better than the other hand, and I don't want to go to 5 over this. Seems too easy to not have lands. Yeah, I like this a little better, because at least, like, the stuff that's too expensive to play is, like, 4. This goes to the bottom. We don't have black mana where I might keep it, but we want to find more lands right now. And, like, 2-drop we can't play is not a good top deck. Would have been a decent keep on the draw. Yeah, no, I agree. If that was a draw, I think I would more strong... or if we were on the draw, rather. Oh, there we go. Swamp. This guy. I don't think we're extremely well positioned against the life gain deck, but not all life gain decks are particularly strong. So we want to draw a 3-drop basic land in that order. Okay, our opponent likes Vampire Neonates even more than I do. Oh my god, I hope they block both of them! Block both of them, please! Do it! Do it for Vasta! Oh, goodness, yes! That was awesome. I hope they can't come back from that. That'd be like the dumbest outcome for a game of all history. I mean, that's not great for us. Oh, I have one of those though. Looks like this. No attack. Vampires. Actually, the life gain deck in this format does still have a pretty strong showing of vampires, yeah. It's not... The cards don't say, like, oh, your vampires get better, but, like, life gain tends to be a thing that vampires in both black and white care about. So, if there's a life gain theme, it often has, like, a vampire component to it. This is definitely a game. I don't know what to say beyond that, but yes. Oh, that's unfortunate. Really, like, I do want that basic land. How high level can a neonate go? I don't know that I understand the question, Demolition. In what respect? Ooh, that's bad. So this is one of the better payoffs in the format for playing the life gain deck. It's a 2/4 flyer for 5 mana. Says at the beginning of each end step, if you gained life, make a 1/1 bat creature with flying. So any turn they gain life, while I can't kill that thing, they just get more and more flying creatures. Yeah, it's a 0 attack card because it's made for block. So, like, the purpose of this card is to be a blocker that... Like, it's just a strongly defensively oriented card. It blocks, like, low-power creatures, and then you tap it to drain life from your opponent. So with this out, I'm really glad I managed to kill both of their, like, constant life gain engines. Oh, that's not good for me. I mean, I don't block this, because I can't pump the Harpy right now. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we probably end up losing this game just because we're really not drawing lands. I do think this hand is better than the 7. I do think I would have kept that 7. I'm getting somewhere. I think I'd rather have Havoc Devils out than Brawl-Bash Ogre right now. So at least now I have something that can, like, kill this if they go to attack just to gain life off of its lifelink. I can basically trade this for a bat. But, like, if I don't have a good blocker for this, then they basically get to have a bat no matter what. Is there a Vampire Lord? I mean, there are in the game of Magic. I don't think there are any in this set, though. I mean, again, assuming you're using the Magic terminology of Lord, which is, like, a card that makes all of the things of its type, like, slightly more powerful. No blockers, we go to 10. That's fine. It'd be really good if we could draw another land. Or that. I mean, I think that's probably the play here. We're not threatening a lot on the ground, so we just start boosting up the Harpy by, like, sacrificing tokens and whatever. Like, I think we can definitely stabilize this game. We definitely got off to a rough start, but, like, they're running low on cards. We'll eventually catch up on lands, and then, like, our hand is quite good. Sorry, I should specify that we do specifically need Swamp. This is our 1 double black mana casting cost card. That card is not threatening to us. Like, I am pretty happy to see that from our opponent right now. Why couldn't the Devils block? Because the creatures they attacked with had flying. This is not a flying devil, it's a prankster devil. I think our opponent has figured out that, like, their attacks are kind of not great now. Let's put that stop there. I do think I just want to pump my mana into, like, turning these tokens into power. Oh? Oh, I don't like it, but I really think I'm supposed to do this. I don't think I can play around anything. We're still too far behind, so I think I use the ability, sacrifice a token, submit. And then we'll just do the 1 for now, because that makes my guy big enough to... Okay. Okay, they were just calling our bluff. Or maybe they didn't remember that worked that way. Either way, pretty happy. Do I spend another mana? Oh, maybe they have the Plague Mare and... Yeah, Plague Mare would be pretty good right now. I think I am going to pump it again just because we're kind of crimped on mana, and I'm pretty sure I want to do this at least one more time to be able to, like, threaten to do this over time. Okay, not great, but serviceable. I think we'll play the Menace guy because haste is more relevant later if we can clear the board somehow or other. Menace is just relevant by being able to attack whenever possible. Definitely not attacking with the flyer. Maybe I should have attacked with the 4-3. No, because then they can just get in with the lifelink thing, and that's terrible for us. Oh, butts. That's really bad for us. I mean, we have like a turn to try and answer that, but if they start being able to do this every turn, then they just get bats, and our life total is decreasing. So that's pretty not good for us. Really need Swamp or, like, Removal Spell. We've never drawn our red removal spells on a turn when we would, like, actually want to use them. Or rather, on a turn where we weren't dead and had mana to use them. I mean, we definitely have, like, a couple of turns before this gets wildly out of control, but, like, this is not a good situation. I would very much like to be able to kill one of these cards. Ooh, and they have a Harpy too? And they can start using their bats to fuel the Harpy. Would Vampire Sovereign help at all here? I mean, Vampire Sovereign's not in the set, so in that respect, no. Because Vampire Sovereign's the, like, 3-mana 2/2 that lets you, like, tap a bunch of vampires to, like, steal a thing or something. No, that's Captivating Vampire. Which one's Vampire Sovereign? Okay. I'm definitely killing the Bloodlord. Like, it's annoying that this thing can drain life from us forever, but, like, the token generation is the biggest problem. Because, like, on multiple axes, that becomes unmanageable for us very quickly. I do need... I mean, I need Swamp, for one. I think being able to play this Vampire Sovereign, like, puts us in the driver's seat to some extent. Can't, like, all-out attack unless it's lethal. Oh, come on. Rise from the grave? Jerk. Oh, this one's Vampire Sovereign. Well, I can't play Vampire Sovereign. I need Swamp. I think I said that, right? It's double Swamp. We have only one Swamp. Our hand is being mean. Now we can play it. Gain life back, and then... I'm gonna start getting aggressive. I think this is probably correct. I am gonna sacrifice a god. They played a Rise from the Grave after we killed it. It literally just brings it back from the graveyard. You cannot chump block this with one creature method. You must sacrifice another creature to do the thing. Okay. Yeah, these are fine. They'll gain a bat, so it trades the bat. Am I okay with that particular trade? It would take 3 damage. I think I'm still supposed to do it. I don't like it, but I think it's probably correct. Yeah, this card is very difficult to beat if you have consistent sources of life gain. Like, unfortunately, because we stumbled on mana, like, fairly hard, like, our opponent was able to build up this board. Like, we even got lucky in being able to, like, kill off, like, 2 of this miserable card, like, early on for relatively free. But, yeah, we had, like, multiple, like, 2 or 3 turns where we just, like, couldn't do anything. Like, this, by no means is this, like, an unwinnable matchup, but they have a pretty good version of what that deck can be. And our deck is pretty good, but I don't think it's quite on that level. We definitely have draws that could beat that, but I don't think this is one of them. Going to 8 or 9? Well, we're probably losing after this game, is my guess. And then I'm probably going to start another draft. And then, I don't know. I'm going to go for some amount of time. An indeterminate amount of time. Okay. Definitely play the axe. I could give this thing trample. So let's see. If I attack with it, give it the axe, make it a 5/3, and don't pump it, then the best trade is like the 2/2 flyer and the 1/1 turn into a zombie guy, which is like bad for us. You still probably make... It'd probably block, like, zombie guy and 1/1 if we do pump it up, so that's, like, not really, like, better. Yeah, I mean, like, our blocks, like, don't do anything, so I think I'm just supposed to, like, pressure them enough to, like, whittle down their forces until we, like, hopefully draw something? Like, another way to kill that stupid... I can't believe they'd rise from the grave, like, the second their thing died. I'm gonna say no to this. It's possible I should have been attacking earlier. I was playing fairly conservatively. I think it was right because, well, I think probably after I played the Hostile Minotaur, I was supposed to be attacking with the 4/3 trample. And that's just like a miss on my part. One of the things I think I still struggle most with is board stalls. Once they reach a certain complexity, it's often difficult to know... Really? What do I think I have? I don't have any cards in hand. Oh, okay. There was some glitch. I thought they were blocking with the Harpy, but there is some visual bug right now. Yeah. Let me go ahead and, like, not... Damage. Damage, I said. Like this. I really need that other, like, super burn spell. Or, like, active treason. We haven't seen active treason at all this game. I do kind of wish our deck had second active treason over, like, the Trumpet Blast, even though the Trumpet Blast was, like, kind of good in this particular game. Also, just as a point of reference, they should probably be doing this during my second main phase. So there's a weird interaction here where, like, this checks during each end step, yours and your opponent's, whether you gained life on that turn. And if you did, then you gain a bat. So if you have a way to do it on your turn and your opponent's turn, you can gain two bats per cycle, which is obviously pretty good. See, now they're definitely playing too conservative. Well, I drew this, which is good. Not convinced that it is good enough. But they're probably just going to have Rise from the Grave again, and then I'm going to have an actual aneurysm. So, like, now there's a world in which I can imagine us, like, stabilizing. Because it's not just infinite bats, which was the reason why I like started getting aggressive, was to try and like stop them from just being completely wide around us. Not really. On this last turn demolition, we drew our second really expensive fiery finish and killed the creature again. I'm just waiting for them to play Rise from the Grave number 2. Because then I'll just die. Okay. Maybe they're flooded? I mean, the main threat right now is this. Like, their Harpy's a problem, especially with their tokens, but like, they don't have a consistent way to generate the tokens now. Do I? No. I don't think I do anything yet. Considering, like, attacking with the Goblin, but, like, that just trades really easily with this thing that they want to have die. I could attack with the 3/3 or give it the axe and attack with it, but that's not good. Can't really attack with my flyers because they have too many flying blockers, and they can, like, sacrifice their thing and turn it into a zombie and make their thing bigger, and so it's a better blocker. It's black, yeah. Yeah, you got it. You got my swamp, friendo. It's really difficult to define any colors like biggest effect unless you define it by like a particular format. So like, for example, in this limited format, there is a 6/6 demon for 4 mana that requires you to sacrifice a creature when you cast it. Okay, now they're doing this. So I'm assuming that they were doing this on their turn because at some point, maybe during this game, and I just like didn't even pay attention to it, they tried to drain me during the end step. And if you drain during the end step, then there's no chance for the other card to see that like you've gained life and thus make a token for it. Yeah, I don't think we can win this game. We've put up a pretty good fight considering, but that basically having 2 copies of that token generator and then like flooding out pretty hard. I've just been flooding out like ridiculously this week. It's reminiscent of that time there was a hole in my ceiling and it rained, and then it rained like through my kitchen. But I'm also not sure if you mean like expensive in terms of like valuable cards or whatever. So now I'm gonna take 2 damage every time they drain me because this thing just makes me lose a life every time they gain a life. So I don't think I can put on enough pressure quickly enough. And like even if I draw Banefire, like their life total's too high. I can't just like burn them out from here. Like we got like a really weak start, and their deck is very good. And they've also drawn pretty well. Like this would have been a tough game to win even if we weren't just drawing mountains after drawing no mountains when we needed mountains. Is my takeaway. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we're just hosed forever. I mean, if we did draw the Banefire, I think I would kill the 0/3, which is a super sad use of Banefire. But then we're, like, relatively stable forever? Like, not forever. But, like, their deck is quite good. I'm really surprised they haven't found any means to attack. I mean, they don't have to. Your dragon is, yay. I'll just like sacrifice this at the end of their turn. It doesn't do anything. For whatever it's worth to you guys in chat, I don't think we're dropping any frames, so I don't think there's an internet connection problem on my part. Settings are all the same as usual, so even though I'm not sure my bitrate is optimum, it usually doesn't seem to cause people problems. Eggs hatch eventually? Well, in real life they do. In this game you kind of have to do something to make it hatch. Because the way this works is when it dies, it makes the dragon. So like you could block something with it and that causes it to happen. Yeah, we've died. GG. I mean, that was an unfortunate game, but their deck was like very good. Like, I have no problem losing to a deck that good, other than the fact that, like, it would have been nice if our draws weren't also pretty bad. But still, what did we end up going? Like, 5-3? And, like, we had a couple of, like, unfortunate, like, flooding incidents. Plus, we made, like, most of an entry feedback, so, like, that's pretty good. And some core set packs. Why don't we go ahead and open those? I also got one from doing that ill-fated Amonkhet Hour of Devastation draft the other day that I mentioned earlier. Off camera. So let's see. Sleep's a fun card. It's a blue card that taps all their creatures and makes them not untap. So you can sort of attack as though they don't have blockers for like 2 turns. It's pretty strong. Havoc Devils did not do a lot for us. Vine Mare, quite good. Alpine Moon is definitely a constructed card that you don't want in a draft. It doesn't basically do anything. What's this one do? That tapped zombie that really threatened to kill us that one game. Wild card's nice. Starcrown Stag pretty good. Most of these I talked about during the draft. Hey, another copy of that rare I rare drafted. Nice. You! I'm cross at you. Oh, this one's fun. Meteor Golem. 7 mana, 3/3 artifact creature. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls. So, basically a robot falls from the heavens, and its impact crushes something to death. I love this card. It's a really fun card. Hey look, we got Palladium Wars the Ruiner! This is a metaphor for my luck for most of this week. It's a 6 mana, 6/6 Elder Dragon legendary creature with Flying Vigilance Trample, and it has hexproof if it hasn't dealt damage yet. So it has hexproof until it attacks something. And also is just a 6 mana, 6/6 creature with evasion and lots of useful keywords. 3 colors, but still pretty good. And finally, we got a gold wild card. Oh, Mirror Image. I like this card. It's a 3 mana 0/0 shapeshifter. It enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature you control. So as I was talking about earlier, shapeshifters are definitely a thing in Magic, and they copy cool things. This one's a little less good than the average shapeshifter, because most of them can like copy your opponent's best thing, so they can sort of help you if you're behind. This one is better if you're in like a board stall or if you're ahead, but usually you don't need something to help you out there. So it's not a super high pick, but it is a really cool card. And then our rare is a mythic rare wild card. Great. Okay. So, hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm going to call this recording to a close. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this weird draft with this pretty good red-black deck. Didn't quite go the distance, but I'm pretty happy with it because I don't know that there was too much we could have done to salvage those other games. Maybe make some different mulligan decisions, but those are always hard to gauge in hindsight. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy the first Core 19 draft to go up, because the first one mysteriously got lost because it was awful. And I will see you in the future for more drafts and other things at twitch.tv/VascoDaGamer. Follow me on Twitter at VascoDaGamer, or the Renegade Constabulary Facebook to hear our alerts and find out when we're going live. Or just follow my Twitch channel. Any of those things work. Thank you for watching here on YouTube. Hopefully I'll catch you on Twitch. And in the meantime, have a good one. Take care, crew.